Hey everybody, how you doing? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dave. I'm 58, semi-retired, single, and no kids. I live just outside of Ames, Iowa, home of Iowa State University. I decided to join Doordash to help supplement my income. I hope this series of videos will highlight what it's like to be a Doordasher in a town that is not a major metropolitan center. Alright, let's get to it. Monday, September 6, 2021, Labor Day. But before we get started, let's give a shout out and congratulations. Speedwagon hit 200,000 miles about a week ago. Been meaning to post that up. Good job, big fella. Thank you very much. Let's give the big guy a bath. I didn't do any door dashing over the weekend. I have no mowing scheduled for the week, and we're going to be dry this week, mid to high 80s. I've kind of got everybody transferred to the weekends and evenings so I can do this DoorDash thing full time. Hopefully we can run all week, 8-hour days. Not so sure about how Labor Day is going to play out. But before we get into that, I just have to show you this. I snapped a picture. This was at our local Wendy's. I think it speaks for itself. Holiday Labor Day. How is this going to work? Ames was cool gray all morning, and I decided just to head on over just for the heck of it. And just about the time I penetrated the Ames boundary, it went pink. So I scheduled a dash. It was kind of strange. Usually they'll let you dash for just about any scheduled hours. It would only let me go 2 hours. So I got there right at 7:30 and I dashed for 2 hours with my end time at 9:30. However, it let me dash until 10:30. I think the app was a little funky today. Started pretty slow and then picked up to a real nice pace, including some grocery deliveries, and I've mentioned before, that's where there's some usually pretty good tips. And I'll tell you, the college kids, they tip pretty well too. My large insulated tote showed up yesterday, so I put that into action today, as you see here. It is kind of soft, so I put this box that was just a little bit smaller than the footprint of the tote. Ran that for a little while, then decided to pull that out. And as you can see here, the McDonald's bag fits in there pretty good. I'll be able to easily get 2 in there. In fact, when I did a grocery run that had paper bags, 3 grocery paper bags fit in it perfectly side by side, and I used that to carry it up to the 3rd floor for that customer. Worked out spectacularly. Let's take a quick look at my ratings after today. A 5.0 customer rating. I'm at 66% acceptance rate, 100% completion rate, and 97% on time or early. Diving into the customer ratings, I have 8 people that have given me 5 stars. A little bit deeper, you can see that people have given me some thumbs up on communication, following delivery instructions, order handling, and friendliness. And one customer said, awesome guy, very friendly. I think that was the gal at the chocolate shop. Thank you very much. I did have another offer to shop and deliver from Hy-Vee today. I declined that. I'm just not going to do that. I ended up running 5 hours, and at that time Ames went cool gray, and it would not let me dash now, but it was asking me if I wanted to schedule. And like I said, I'm a little gun shy still on doing that because of the snafus earlier. So I decided, hey, 5 hours in, let's get out of here. Let's look at the numbers. So I dashed for 5 hours, had 14 orders. The pay was $91.75 for an average hour pay of $18.35. Wow, that's spectacular. I filled up the tank before I went dashing today, then I filled it up when I got back. You can see 12.7 miles per gallon. I'm gonna start doing that a little more frequently to get better baseline mileage, MPG. These numbers need to be as accurate as possible. Paid $3.10 a gallon, 82 miles for everything, 56 DoorDash delivery miles. Income minus gas on all the miles was $71.73, minus just the delivery miles was $78.08. Per hour, $14.35 versus $15.62. That's pretty damn good. Dollars per mile, all was 1.12. The dollars per mile was just spanking the monkey today, man. And per mile on the DoorDash is 164. Just well over my dollar per mile metric that I will attain as my low. You know, I won't go any lower than that. The dollars per mile, high and lows, I'm going to leave that as a metric for 8-hour days. So we're not going to change what's there. The average job rate was $6.55 per job, and the average job minutes was 0.36. They were coming in pretty darn quick today. Tuesday, September 7th. Beautiful day in central Iowa, and I smell a record being broken today. Now, usually when I get up around 4 or 4:30 in the morning, Ames is still blood red, very busy. I figure that's leftovers from the bar crowd that then mingles into the breakfast crowd. But today, Ames was cool gray all the way up till almost 6:30 in the morning. So about that time, I jumped in a Speedwagon and we headed over to Ames. And just about 6:45, when I penetrated the border into Ames, it went a very, very light pink. But I was able to dash now and set an end time. Again, maybe there's been some changes on the app. Instead of going 8 hours out, it would only allow me to go to 12:30. So I selected that maximum and then went to my favorite parking spot around Panera Bread and McDonald's and waited for the orders. Half an hour later, the longest I'd ever waited, got my first order. Now, other Doordash YouTubers have said don't stay in one spot too often. They suggest that you get out and you drive around, and I have actually kind of found that to be possibly a little bit true. I don't know. You know, it's hard to quantify that kind of thing. So anyway, I ended up about 15 minutes later driving over near the Hy-Vee, and that's when I got my first order. After that, they came in pretty steady for the rest of the day. I kind of had a strategy in mind here that if it worked out, I was going to start in East Ames along South Duff, along Fast Food Row there, and then roughly about 8 o'clock in the morning or so, I wanted to kind of transition over to West Ames towards that Hy-Vee grocery store, just a little bit more affluent side of town, and I've had some very good grocery runs there with some pretty good tips. So it was my intention about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning to head toward West Ames, which is really, like I've said before, Ames is pretty small, if you will. It's only, 3.5, 4 miles away from the east side of Ames, and I was just going to decline an order and zip over there and see what would happen given my proximity to that section of town. As luck would have it, I had a restaurant delivery that was almost all the way to West Ames, and I got over there and click, sure as shit, got a grocery order. It was one that I'd done before to a gal that has a in-home daycare, and she tips really well. That was a $10 tip right there. About the only fast food joint over on the west end of town is a single McDonald's, and for the rest of the morning there, I had some pretty good runs from it to the various sections of West Ames. So I just kind of hung out in West Ames there for a while, and then slowly navigated my way back to East Ames for the lunch rush, which included picking up some food items in Campus Town and delivering them to residence halls. I did decline a couple of orders that went deep into Campus Town residential hall areas because, as I've mentioned before, those roads are just single lane. It's just a clusterfuck. Just thousands of students walking to class. So a couple of those I declined and let the youngins take care of that one. Had a couple more offers of shop and deliver that I declined. One of them was only 14 items, and I think it was paying around $10. So here's the issue on that. I don't shop at Hy-Vee. I don't know the layout of that store. Maybe I need to do a little bit of intelligence gathering and kind of get the layout of the store and maybe figure out how to get in there and get out real quick shopping for the items and then delivering them. So that's going to be something I am going to play around with just a little bit. Overall, I don't know if they're money makers or not, so I need to research that. Had a pretty good lunch run on the east end of town, and then I kind of navigated back over to the west end, and I was just finishing up a grocery delivery when I got a double grocery delivery from Hy-Vee. 2 orders, 2 separate locations, a combined 580 items. I think previous to that, the highest that I'd seen was like 75 grocery items. One of those went deep into the heart of campus, so I don't know if that was like to a resident hall kitchen or something like that, but I thought, nope, I'm declining that. Knowing that area like I think I do, it would have taken me a half an hour to mule pack those grocery bags from Speedwagon to the location where they wanted them. So as I said, I declined that one, and just a few minutes later I got another one, just a standard grocery delivery to a residence. So I went over to the Hy-Vee pickup zone, met another Doordash guy, Zach, good guy. He's been doing this for a few months. We chatted a little bit, and I said, yeah, I declined this one that had 580 items, and he showed me his phone, and he goes, I just took it. I'm not sure exactly what model car he had, but I said to him, I think you're going to need a bigger car. So we were chatting, and I asked him, I said, hey, what's your take on this procedure when you finish a delivery and it says, congratulations, you've made more than what the original delivery amount was? Because like I said, I've had several different explanations on that, and his take on it was DoorDash occasionally hides the end result just so people won't cherry pick, and that is decline until they see a nice high dollar amount. So that gives everybody an even chance. So if somebody takes something for like $5 or $8 and then they get the order finished, and then all of a sudden it's $10 more, that feels pretty good. Tuesday had another slight oddity to it. I delivered happy birthday balloons and 2 sets of flowers and cookies and chocolates and strawberries and cream. Some guys screwed up over Labor Day football weekend and had to do some apologizing, eh? Again, as I mentioned, for some reason or other, I'm not able to dash for any length of time greater than, say, about 3 hours. So I had several, quote, dashes, and then was able just to jump right back in and set another time exit. And that gave me my whole 8.5 hour day there. All right, let's take a look at the numbers. All right, I loaded this information into a spreadsheet. I forgot to change the date and the time, so just ignore this. This is for Tuesday. So my dash time was 8 hours. I had 24 orders. I think that's a record. 133.88, that's a record. 16.74 for the average hour pay. Got 12.5 miles a gallon in Speedwagon. 131 all miles. 111 DoorDash miles. I was all over town. Running net income minus gas on all was 101. DoorDash was 106 per hour. You can see that right there. Dollars per mile, all over the $1 minimum. But again, I'm not looking at that one. I use the DoorDash delivery. $1.21 per mile. That is just awesome. Average job rate was 558, a little lower than the other day. 0.33 average job minutes, right there with where I was the other day. So I'm getting this down. I'm figuring out how to do some alternative routing, which may add a half a mile, but it keeps me out of the heavy traffic light density areas. Job count is up to 151. This week I will hit my 200 lifetime deliveries, and that will then allow me to become eligible for Top Dasher. Let's take a look at my rankings. On the left is Monday Labor Day's numbers, and on the right is Tuesday's numbers. Now, something that I had seen and I didn't really comprehend, and I wanted to kind of clarify, all these figures, all these rankings are based on the last 100 deliveries, which means after you have 100 deliveries, your 101st delivery counts, and then your first one gets dropped off. It's a rolling average. And as you might remember, my acceptance rate was down in the low 40s, but that's because of that nationwide glitch a week ago when I was down in Ankeny there, and I had like 10 possible offers that they claimed I didn't take. But anyway, that was a glitch. And supposedly they were going to fix that nationwide. I don't know if they did, but my acceptance rate has been going up steadily since then. And you can see in these 2 days here, it went from 66% all the way up to 72%. And you can see my on time or early went up 1% from 97 to 98. So the Top Dasher program is if you have an acceptance rate of 70% or greater over your lifetime, and you have to have a minimum of 200, and I'm going to get there pretty quick, then at the first of the month, if you have those numbers, you're eligible for certain rewards programs. One of those is if there's a tie between you and another dasher who's not a Top Dasher in the area for an order, you're supposed to get that winning coin flip, if you will, and a few other things there. So it'll be interesting to see if I can maintain this, and I think I can, because I am taking just about everything, you know, that is within my parameters of $1 a mile, and that's literally just about everything in Ames, as we're seeing here now, you know, with my most recent at $1.21 per mile. So here's the running totals for the week. I'm not going to go through this point by point, but I'll leave it up so you can look at my numbers. As I produce this part of the video, it's Wednesday morning. It's a beautiful day. It's only going to be about 80 degrees. I did have another customer or two get a hold of me and request a lawn mowing. I was going to back everything up to Saturday, but Saturday is the University of Iowa State University intrastate rivalry game here in Ames. So it's also going to be hot. We're back up into the 90s plus. So I decided to take Wednesday off. That's the great thing about this gig economy. You can work when you want to. So I've got some laundry to do. I've got to mow my own property. Going to get those two other customers banged out. Got a little maintenance on the mower, etc., etc., etc. Going to get all that done. Take Wednesday off. Then we'll go back into it hot and heavy on Thursday in Ames, and you know, I mean, Ames is working. There's no reason for me to go to Ankeny or Boone. Like I've said before, this is where I'm getting the high dollar amounts per mile and etc. And you can see my total there. I'm easily going to break 500 even by taking today off. Welcome to Thursday, 6:30 a.m. I breached the Ames boundary, dash now, and now I'm given the opportunity to dash literally until, you know, midnight the next day, tomorrow, Friday. So that must be a thing that I mentioned before, where when you're showed limited hours, you know, as far as your end time, maybe there's a lot of people that have pre-scheduled the afternoon. Now, I've never had a really big problem of dashing now and then setting a new end time, but we'll see how that happens as time goes by. So anyway, I decided to select 6:30 p.m., a 12-hour shift. Had no intention of doing that, but I thought, you know what, let's lock it in. So at the conclusion of the last segment, I said, you know, I'm going to hit 500, no problem. I forgot that I had the airport run for the neighbor on Friday. So I'm going to mow a yard Friday morning and take them to the airport. I'll get back around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I think I'll just take a nap and call it a day. Unlike the other day where I sat around for 20 to 30 minutes before I got my first offer, I breached the boundary of Ames, hit dash now, and bang, first order. The Mickey D's on the east side on Duff Avenue. We started early. The lobby's not even open, had to go through the drive-thru. Not a soul there, picked up the order, made the delivery. We're off to a good start. And then the orders came in like clockwork. Every stinking time I closed out and confirmed a delivery, bang, another offer came up. Fantastic. I didn't even have time. I thought I had it saved in my archives, but I didn't even have time to grab a screenshot of your current dash revenue income, which is on that main screen where it's looking for orders. In the upper right-hand corner shows you your running total for the current dash. I never even saw that all morning long because it was just, here's another offer. So coming into Thursday here, after some trial and error and just pure luck, I decided to run South Duff fast food row in the morning like I usually do, and then roughly about 8:30 to 9 o'clock I wanted to kind of head over toward the west end of town, which I've indicated before. The Hy-Vee over there seems to have a little bit better tipping going on with that grocery store delivery. Not shop and deliver, but just the delivery of the groceries. So as you see here in the time lapse, it was about 8:30 in the morning when I got my first grocery delivery offer, and this is from the Hy-Vee in East Ames. And like I said, I've noticed it's around 8 o'clock, 8:30 is when those grocery orders start coming in. So I make that delivery, and then it happened. Let's take a look. It's a little before 9, and I get this offer to go to a Casey's and make a delivery for $6.25.
Your destination is on the right.
At the time, I'm about 2.8 miles from the Casey's, and the total delivery mileage is listed at 3 miles. I figure this is one of their infamous breakfast pizzas, and someone's having it delivered, you know, not too far away from the Casey's, so hell yeah, I take it. When an offer comes up, you're able to see on the map your location, where the merchant is, and where the final delivery is. You can zoom in and see exactly where that is, but with the dollar amount for this offer, I didn't check. At the point where you tap on the app to say that you have arrived at the store, you still don't see the actual physical address yet. You pick up the order, confirm that you pick up the order, then you get to see the final address. So I pick up the pizza, come back out to the truck, put it in the insulated carrier, get back in the truck, click on directions, and this is what I hear.
Your destination is on the right.
And it's showing me the address. It's kind of odd. Lincoln Way in Ames for a small section is actually Highway US 69. The address is shown as 507 US 69. I'm a little perplexed. I'm supposedly at the destination. Then I figure it out. Let's go. Yep, I literally deliver it across the street. What? Oh my, incredible. So I tried to take it in the lobby, and the lobby doors are closed, and there's some ladies sitting out there drinking their coffee. They had gone through the drive-thru, and I mentioned to them, I said, is the dining room not open? And that has happened with some restaurants in the area with the lack of the availability workforce that's going on right now. And so this is what I figured happened. So I couldn't get into the lobby, so I called the number that was on the app because nobody came to the door. And Starbucks was just busier than shit, rocking and rolling. People rolling through needing their caffeine. I'd like a venti caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino with 5 bananas, extra caramel drizzle, extra whipped cream, extra ice, extra cinnamon dulce sprinkles, 7 pumps of dark caramel sauce, extra caramel crunch topping, 1 pump honey blend, extra salted butter topping, 5 pumps of frappuccino roasts, and 7 frappuccino chips made with heavy cream and double blended, please. So I figured they were short-handed. They had to shut down the dining room, and they were only operating through the drive-thru. Well, the guy that I talked to on the phone sounded like he was not at that location. I'm assuming he was maybe the franchise owner or the manager or supervisor or something, and his guys and gals are rocking and rolling at Starbucks, and he ordered them up some breakfast. Good man. Good job. Good job. So he said, hey, go up to the lobby door. I will call them. They will come to the door and get the pizza. And that's what I did, and then a guy came to the door and got it. So there it is, my shortest delivery ever. That's a record, probably never be broken. Literally diagonally across the intersection, across the street. I traced my drive distance out on Google Maps. It clocked in at a massive 300 feet. So I'm kind of chuckling to myself after this, and I think I say it out loud to Speedwagon, hey, let's get out to West Ames. Immediately after the Starbucks delivery, I get an offer that originates at the Taco John's, right across the street from Starbucks. Where does it go? West Ames. Man, is Doordash listening to me? Once out in West Ames, I pick up several McDonald's orders for that area, and with the mileage involved with that specific McDonald's, usually the dollar rate per mile is pretty good. Then the grocery store order came in. It was a double, and man, did they tip well. One of them was to a retirement community where the old boy had an actual grocery cart, one of the smaller ones, that I was able to bust the groceries from my truck to the front door. And he tipped fantastically. Wow, what a great guy. And the rest of the day went just as smooth, order after order after order. I even had to take a little half-hour break just to get some lunch in. I ended my dash after 8.5 hours, 8 hours of run time with that half-hour break, so it was a pretty good day. Let's take a look at the numbers. Today's rating's pretty much the same, except I gained 2% on the acceptance rate up to 74%. And I am up to 10 customers that have given me 5 stars. So as it turned out, I only worked about 21 hours, but we had some records broken. Number one, we had that short delivery distance. I don't think that record can ever be broken for me personally. But broke another record, 25 orders in one day, 141.92 for the day. I believe that is a record at $17.10. Total for the week will be $367.55. Had some pretty good mileage on Thursday also. 102 Doordash delivery miles versus 111 on Tuesday. My total job count sits at 190, and within the first 3 or 4 hours of the next time I dash, I should easily eclipse 200 lifetime deliveries. To be considered a top dasher, you have to have 100 completed deliveries during the previous last month. Since I started door dashing in 8/19 of last month, it'll be the month of September where I will need those 100 deliveries for the month, and that's going to be no problem. So as long as my customer rating doesn't fall below 4.7, my acceptance rate stays above 70%, and my completion rate of 95%, I have no doubt that I'll be a top dasher in October. Since I had a couple 8-hour days this week, back to back, we're going to fill in the high and the low dollars per mile. On all mileage, I'm at 110, above my dollar per mile minimum. And on the DoorDash miles, up to $1.37. That's pretty damn good, I think. Average job minutes is 0.34. That's been hovering in that area for the last few days. Either I'm getting much more quicker and much more efficient, because it was up around 4.2, 4.6. It's not going to be as easy as I thought it was to get a 40-hour work week in right now with the smattering of lawns that I have. I've tried to back them up to the weekend, but then that packs the weekend, so I'm back to kind of doing them when I can during the week, and that will impede on the door dashing. But I think as we're seeing right here, the numbers are showing a 40-hour week, $500-600 is very doable. I'm considering running a couple more tests next week, one of which is running a 10 or 12-hour shift and having that encompass the dinner rush and see what that does. 10 or 12 hours doesn't scare me at all. I feel fresh as a daisy after 8.5. Hey, what am I doing? I'm driving around delivering food. I am not breaking a sweat. Another test I'm kind of kicking around is running a few hours in the midday on Saturday next week, as Iowa State football is away next week, not at home. And there'll just be a bunch of hungry college students watching on TV, drinking beer, and maybe eating a whole lot of wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. Or scarfing down Casey's Pizza. Well, the video went a little longer than I thought, but hey, a lot of stuff happened. Hope you can take something from this. Alright, guys and gals, thanks for coming along for the ride, and hope to see you next time.